they're going to be spending time just getting to know them. This is the first year that we're having a school opening where children are not coming in to meet their teachers physically and in person. So that first day is going to be spent really getting to know the children, getting to talk to them, and getting to know you if you're on the platform a little bit, because they're changing classes. The second day will be dedicated to classroom expectations for Google. So on that day, you'll have what the flow of the day looks like, what their schedule looks like, what submitting work will look like, how they will submit work, how assignments and assessments will be given. So all of that will be reviewed on day 2. And then, the Google expectations, etiquette, what is expected on the Google platform. And this year, just very different from last year. The expectation is we went into kind of Google last year, just on a few days. We had a few days to get prepared. And as such, we just kind of were building the plane as we were flying it. This year, the expectations have changed quite a bit, just in terms of, setting kids up with a space that's for working. They are getting up to come to school. It's no longer interactions, it's actually attendance. So all of those things will be gone over with you, with the teacher, so that you are aware. So first day is welcome, introduction, really getting to know the kids and you a little bit. Second day is really about what's expected on the platform. And the third day is really about what is the classroom expectations? What are we doing for work? What do we expect children to do? How will they submit it to us? And various things like that. So you will be getting all of that this week. And Ms. Fleshman and Mr. Burke, if there's anything that I forget to say, please jump in. But I just want to kind of delineate that so parents are aware that we're working on that, and you'll have that these 3 days in depth.
I think that what they're also looking for is what teachers
They didn't ask that, so I'm going to only answer what they asked. Yeah.
I said the day this car moves, I want to quit my job and just keep my car here.
Miss Mills.
Oh wait.
Miss Mills, can you mute your microphone, please? Thank you. Next question, Miss Heredia.
I'm going to do a translation first. Para los padres que estaban preguntándose los primeros días de clase, ¿cómo va a ser? En los primeros días de clase, el primer día la maestra se va a introducir, que viene siendo este miércoles, la maestra se va a introducir. Para el segundo día vamos a hacer un poco más de cuál es la ética para la escuela, de cómo es el comportamiento, cómo pueden poner el trabajo en la computadora y cosas así. Solo los primeros 3 días remoto va a ser los padres las maestras introduciéndose y enseñándole a su hijo o hija cómo puede poner el trabajo por computadora. Okay. How often is the classroom and school building going to be cleaned? How long?
Hold on one second, Miss Heredia. And just for anyone who has signed their children up for blended learning, where they're coming into the school on some days, we sent Miss Jimenez emailed and mailed those schedules to you. So you should have them. If you did not receive your child's schedule in terms of the ABC day, please let us know and we'll get them to you. But I know that not only did we send them via email, but that Ms. Jimenez also mailed them to the children who were coming in on those days. If you have since changed your child from blended to full remote, then just disregard that or hold on to that schedule should later on you decide that that's something you'd like to change in one of the change dates. But right now, those should have been emailed out to you. If you did not receive them, please let us know so that we can send that to you.
Si tu hijo o hija está planeando venir a la escuela en la manera blended, usted debe haber recibido una carta, sea o por dirección electrónica o por correo. Y esa carta le va a dejar saber en qué grupo su hijo está, sea el grupo A, B o C. Si usted cambió a su hijo para que venga, para que tome sus clases por computadora todo el tiempo y reciba la carta, no se preocupe de la carta, nada más póngala a un lado por si acaso en el futuro usted decide que su hijo o hija va a regresar a la escuela en uno de esos grupos. Gracias. All right. How often are the classroom and school buildings being cleaned?
Well, guidance from DOE says every night there is a deep cleaning that happens. And I know that throughout the day, since I've been here, I've seen the custodians going around cleaning doorknobs, light switches, railings. And so I know that they're cleaning throughout the day, but they're doing deep cleaning every night per the guidance from the DOE.
Okay, la pregunta fue ¿Qué tan a menudo van a limpiar los salones y la escuela? La escuela sería limpiada todos los días. Todos los días en la noche harán una limpieza profunda, pero durante el día, lo que los niños están aquí o las maestras han estado limpiando los manubrios de la puerta, los switches de prender y apagar la luz. Next question is, how long are the school hours going to be?
Children are in for 5.5 hours per the DOE guidance. So children are coming in 8:45 and their day ends at 2:15.
La pregunta es qué largo sería el día de la escuela. El día de la escuela sería 5 horas y media, de 8:45 a 2:15. What time school starts? 8:45. A las 8:45 empieza el día de clase. If you have not heard about what cohort your child is in, please make sure to contact Ms. Jimenez. Ms. Jimenez, if you could please type in your email. Si usted no sabe en qué grupo está su hijo o hija, por favor, mándele un mensaje a la señora Jimenez. Ella va a poner su email en el chat ahora. Okay, will ELA materials or materials for other subject areas be distributed this year or on a later date?
So ELA materials, so typically you would have had your children coming home with a lot of reading books. All of those are going to be accessed, what is this? Remotely and online. And that's just to minimize the number of books traveling back and forth. So the books will be accessed online through Mayan, and they'll have all of that login information and through AZ reading and so forth. So a lot of that will not be happening there. So a lot of the other social studies, for example, in science, a lot of those resources are also online. So this year, many of the companies that we've used in the past to have our textbooks have them online in digital formats. And so because of that, they're not going to be handling a whole lot of those at this point. Should the child need something, then we can certainly put that together. But right now, we're really leaning more toward the digital platforms so that children have access to those. They can type into them and we submit them to their teachers. So that's why those of you who have children K through 2, you receive the math text because that they need to kind of see and look at in that way, but they'll be able to get all of the other materials online that they need to facilitate their learning in reading, writing, and in her social studies and science.
Okay. So una mamá preguntó sobre los libros de lectura, si van a empezar a recibir esos libros. Mayoría de las maestras van a poner los libros por computadora para evitar los libros viniendo de la escuela a la casa y viceversa. So, por ahora, todos esos libros lo van a tener por computadora. Parents, if you are unmuted, can you please mute yourself? We're getting a lot of feedback. I see a phone number that's 646, ends in 27, not muted. 718, ends in 00, not muted. Imani Taylor, if you could please mute.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. The next question, will they be meeting the classroom teacher? That will be happening on Wednesday, am I correct?
Yes. So right now, so I think this is a great time to kind of give you a sense of what's happening so that you're aware, so that you understand how we're working through this at this moment, so that my intent was always to ensure that everyone received their programs last week and that they were able to fully plan for that. But children are constantly coming in and out of the cohorts, let's say changing to remote learning, which means we have to reconfigure the number of students who are in different teachers' classes. As a result, even today, we're now reworking the schedule depending on the number of children who have now opted into remote learning, and additionally, the number of teachers who are going to be in the building as opposed to those who are going to be working from home. So all of those things are playing a part in how we're able to schedule children, keeping in mind that we're trying to honor and will honor their IEPs, ensuring that they have their ICT setting or their self-contained setting. So all of that is and where the service providers are going to be. So all of that plays into the programming now, because depending on the number of teachers coming in, we have to ensure that every child gets the program recommended for them in their IEPs, as well as the general education students, and then on the other side as well. So what that does each day as we're getting those new lists is that it's creating a whole bunch of different different overlaps that we have to then go back and reschedule, which is why you haven't had a finalized version. Because even today, as we're saying to the teachers, send out a welcome letter, let the parents know everything that's coming down the pike. Even today, I went back and clicked on the learning preference, and parents are still adding to that preference sheet, and different things are happening with other adults. So I know that you've been extremely patient. I'm so grateful, because I know that this has not been easy on you. We are doing our very best at the school level to ensure that we're working diligently every day to ensure that we're getting this right. Is it easy? I'm going to be honest, it is not, because it is constantly changing. And so we have to constantly be going back and revamping and looking over the names and ensuring that every child is getting their program. So while I would love to be able to tell you definitively that everything that you've had so far is going to remain the same, that may very well not be the case. Because as we're looking at the numbers right now and trying to make them work and trying to ensure that we keep kids having the teachers who are in our school, it's becoming increasingly harder to do that. So I just want to be honest and upfront with you that this has not been an easy process, but we're working through it. And even today, as we sit here, we are reworking some of the things that we thought we had finalized. You will see Ms. Fleshman nodding her head, because we finalized the schedule last week, and then within a few days, we had to go back and revamp the entire thing. So I just want you to know that it's not that we're trying to hold out on you. We understand your, where you are, because you've been through a lot. All of us have. But I just want to be honest with you that we are really trying to get this right, but it is not easy to do when things are changing every day. And I could very well get off this call right now and come back, and everything has changed again, and we're back to ground zero. So please understand, I know that I've asked you to bear with us, and I thank you for doing so. I think we have the best parents, because you all have been extremely supportive, and I thank you for that. But we are doing the very best that we can right now to get those schedules as close as possible. I know someone asked, are we going to have the same teachers? You may not. And that's just being honest, because it depends on which model your child is in, and which teachers are not coming in, and which ones are in the building. And those numbers are changing every day and all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
La pregunta era sobre cuándo vamos a recibir los salones. Todo depende del cambio, porque todos los días recibimos diferentes números de niños que han decidido tomar sus clases virtuales 100%. So, todo depende de cuándo recibamos esos números. So, por ejemplo, la señora Evans estaba expresando que hoy le dieron números diferentes, o tuvieron que cambiar todo, y ella tiene que tomar en cuenta que todos los niños reciban sus servicios. Hay niños que tienen IEPs, y estos niños necesitan recibir sus servicios. So, es importante que ustedes sean pacientes con nosotros, como han sido hasta ahora, porque todos los días nos cambia la información que recibimos del Departamento de Educación, igual que los números de niños que van a estar por remoto, virtualmente, o que van a estar en la escuela. So, sean un poco pacientes con nosotros en eso. For the devices that were ordered, do parents have to come and pick it up at the building, or would it be delivered to their homes?
So if these are the ones from the city, yes, they are usually shipped directly to your home. But I want to remind parents of the fact that the loaner agreements that they send to you will come to your email. If you do not go in and check that loaner agreement and sign it and send it back, it could very well just be sitting in your inbox, or it could be sitting in your spam. And until that is returned to the DOE, they're not going to mail out the devices. So please check to see if you receive something back from them, and then sign that loaner agreement and send it back. They're usually very quick once those are done, but if they are not done, you're going to be waiting for a while, and then that will not happen. So please, if you applied for one and you haven't received it, just check to ensure that you have the loaner agreement that you need to sign and return to them.
Para los padres que llenaron por computadora o por teléfono para recibir una computadora o iPad, tienen que estar pendientes a su dirección electrónica, porque por ahí es que le van a mandar la información para ustedes poder firmar el contrato de que sí van a recibir el device, y eso tienen que estar bien pendientes a su dirección electrónica. If my child is blended and I want them to go remote, can I still do it? Yes, you can.
Absolutely. So let me just reiterate, going from blended to remote is the easiest thing in the world to do. It's going from home to school that presents an issue. So I just want to be clear. If you start your child out in the blended model where they're coming in a few days per week and you change your mind, that transition is no issue at all. It's the other way around that presents an issue. So that's not a problem. If you want to do that, that is your prerogative. Please just let us know so that we know how to track our children going in and coming out.
Ok, para los padres que quieren cambiar si sus hijos van a venir a la escuela y ustedes lo quieren cambiar a que tomen clases virtuales, todavía tienen el chance de poder hacerlo. No hay problema con cambiar de estar en la escuela a virtual, eso no es el problema. Es un poco más difícil cuando están de virtual a ponerlo que vengan a la escuela. Entonces ahí tenemos que esperar una fecha específica para poder ponerlo para atrás a las clases así. So, si su hijo está en la escuela ahora mismo y quieren cambiarlo para virtual, pueden hacerlo. Our next question is, since parents are not allowed into the school building, as per the DOE, is it possible that we can have a virtual meeting where we can see how classrooms are set up to reassure the
You can show them the classroom. I'm okay with that. I didn't hear the last part. Sorry, Ms. Heredia.
just if we could show the classroom so we could reassure their safety.
Absolutely. I am more than open to just showing what we've done. We're following the guidelines that were given to us. Just know that in every classroom, we will have hand sanitizers. We will have the air conditioning is working in all of the rooms that we're using. We are ensuring the safety by having children wear the masks. They are allowed to have mask breaks, particularly when they're eating, and other times throughout the day. Teachers will be masked throughout the day, ensuring that children are washing their hands as much as possible, and the social distancing where they're not interacting with each other's personal things. Every child will have their own supplies at their desk, which they will use. And if they don't have those, we'll have to supply those. So absolutely, I'm happy to do that because as a parent, I definitely understand the need to want that safety and to be reassured.
Ok, una mamá preguntó que es como los padres no pueden entrar a la escuela, si es posible de que hagamos una reunión virtual a donde los papás pueden ver cómo los salones de clase están arreglado para poder darle un poquito más de confianza de cómo los salones están arreglados y la clase de limpieza. La señora Evans expresó que en los salones de clase que nosotros estamos usando, todos los aire acondicionados están trabajando. Tenemos hand sanitizer para limpiarnos las manos en el salón. Los niños usarán máscaras durante el día. Sí tienen un tiempo donde se lo pueden quitar la máscara, le llaman a mask break. Que es para los niños tener un chance de poder respirar sin la máscara puesta. Las maestras tienen máscara puesta el día entero y los niños se quitan la máscara para comer. Okay, if you decide to change your child from full remote to blended or vice versa, does this change the child's teacher?
It could. Because again, that depends on who is working remotely and who's in the building. So that's a distinct possibility. Let's say the child is in full remote to start out. They would have a remote teacher who could possibly be one of the teachers who's working remotely. If the child then comes to the building during one of those windows when they can, they're definitely going to have a different teacher because they need a physical body in the classroom who's able to watch over the class. Going from remote to, from blended to remote could pose the same issue, though there could be teachers in our building who are working remotely from the building. So that could be a possibility, but going the other way, probably not at all.
Okay, una mamá preguntó que si cambian a su hijo de virtual a venir a la escuela o de venir a la escuela a virtual si cambian la maestra. La señora Evans dice que es una posibilidad porque todo depende de la maestra que tengamos adentro del edificio, igual a la maestra que tengamos haciendo el trabajo por computadora. Todo depende. So, hay una posibilidad de que sí, que la maestra cambie si su hijo o hija cambia de uno al otro, pero nada es seguro. The next question is, will my child be using the same login information? Yeah, if your child was in the building, yes, they do use the same login information and they will see their new classroom pop up and they just have to click the button that says join so they can join that class.
If your child is new to the school, they'll receive a new login that the teacher will supply to you at that time. Yes.
Una mamá preguntó que si este año usan la misma dirección virtual y la misma clave para entrar al Google Classroom, si usarían la misma información. Si su hijo o hija es nuevo a la escuela, la maestra se comunicaría con usted para darles información para que puedan entrar por la computadora.
I know some of you reached out to me and said you were trying to get into your child's class because you couldn't. And last year, the classes were archived at the end of the year so that children wouldn't be able to just gather there throughout the summer. So all of those classrooms were shut down. So until they are reopened by the teachers, they can't get in even if they have their login information. So don't be alarmed. They have not missed anything. I know one particular parent sent me a snapshot of their page where they received a message. We haven't sent any out. So if you get any of those, you can disregard. Our official start date is on the 16th, where we're working remotely for those 3 days to acclimate our children to the school, and then instructional days start on the 21st.
Para la mamá preguntó de la información, la señora Evans expresó que si su hijo o hija es nuevo en la escuela, van a recibir la información. Si no, si ya estaba en la escuela, ya tiene esa información. Algunos padres expresaron que su hijo o hija durante el verano no pudo entrar a la clase. Eso es porque nosotros quitamos la clase durante el verano para que así los niños no tengan acceso a poder entrar al internet y reunirse con sus amigos y estar en una plataforma sin supervisión de un adulto. Pero ya desde el miércoles, cuando empiecen la clase, van a abrir los salones otra vez. Okay, do we have a remote schedule for the students that will be on remote?
Yes, every child will have a schedule, because I think that so every child will follow a flow of the day, which their teacher will give to them. And I think that happens on day 3 when we do classroom expectations. Every child will have a flow of the day. They will know what time they come in for class and what time that they're going to be dismissed. Also, for the children, just FYI, for the children who are home in full remote, please be reminded that there is a grab and go lunch and breakfast for them at the school. We will send information on that as well. They will have access to that before the school day actually starts, so that they can access those as well. But yes, every child will have a schedule, whether they're in school or fully remote.
Okay. So todos los niños van a recibir un horario, o sea, estén virtual o estén viniendo a la escuela, van a recibir un horario. El miércoles, ya cuando la maestra se comunique con ustedes, van a tener un horario más específico de qué hora la maestra va a estar en vivo por computadora, de qué hora van a recibir las diferentes instrucciones. The next question is, if my child is fully remote, they start this Wednesday, and how much time are they expected to be online daily?
So so for the first 3 days, a minimum of an hour. So we say a minimum. Teachers can be on there in the times when they're introducing themselves and getting to know you and your children. Some of them might go for an hour, some might go a little bit more. So, but at a minimum, an hour for the first 3 days. In terms of being online, it is not our intent to have children online all day. We know that that is not how they learn best. So what you can expect is for your children to be on with their teachers, and it varies according to the grade levels. So for the early childhood grades, 3K, pre-K, kindergarten, their times are significantly less. I think, Ms. Fleshman, do you have that? If you can grab that document so we can give precise times, but no more than 90 minutes to 110 minutes to start in September for many of the grades, and even less for the early childhood children, because the intent is to have them watch their teacher model a lesson, do it together, have an opportunity to try, and then they would be working independently for a period of time. And during that time, teachers might be pulling a small group or working one-to-one with the child, and then they'll come back together. So that's the format it will take. So they will not be sitting all day in front of a screen doing work. That is not the intent, because that's not what they would be doing if they were in a classroom setting. They would have gotten a mini lesson from the teacher. They would have done it together. They would have then said, try it on your own. They would check it. They would see which children need help, and the other children would be working independently. So the model will follow as we do in school.
Una de las mamás preguntó que cómo sería el horario, cuánto tiempo los niños van a pasar al frente de la computadora. Todo depende en el grado que el niño o la niña esté. Para los grados más altos viene siendo de 90 a 110 minutos. Para los niños en grados más bajitos sería menos tiempo. La señora Flashman está buscando el documentario para darle los minutos exactos que estarían al frente de la computadora. Por ejemplo, cuando estamos en la escuela, la maestra da la instrucción y después de la instrucción la maestra le da una oportunidad a los niños de tratar la actividad ellos solos o sea en grupo, y eso sería el mismo método que vamos a seguir por computadora. What is going to happen with the 100 classes?
So, to be honest, I don't know that there'll be 100 class per se. And that again is dependent on how many teachers are remote and how many teachers are in the building. If the teacher, for example, who taught the hundreds classes in remote, but your child is in the blended model, then chances are they're not going to see that teacher. And so I know that that's something that everyone looks forward to. And our intent is to ensure that every single teacher in this school becomes a hundreds teacher, because I understand the basis by which this was brought together at the school, and I understand why that's important. So again, if under normal circumstances, every child would be in their normal classes, getting who they get depending on their need. However, because these are not normal circumstances, and some of the teachers who taught the hundreds class are in school and some of them are remote, it's very difficult then to say that every child will get them, because depending on whether your child is remote or in school, and the teacher may have a flipped schedule, that may not be feasible.
Una mamá preguntó que qué va a pasar con las clases número 100. Todo depende del caso, porque hay algunas maestras que dan esa clase de 100 y las clases de 100, si la maestra está aquí en la escuela y su hijo está completamente virtual, los horarios no pegan, o viceversa, si la maestra está virtual y los niños están viniendo a la escuela y no hay quien le dé esa clase. Pero la meta de la señora Evans es de un día poder tener todas las maestras en esta escuela ser maestras de 100.
Okay, this is Ms. Flashman.
Oh,
I
I
will
was
tell you,
you had to stop.
Hello. I will tell you about the screen time for each grade. And this is inclusive of synchronous and asynchronous activities throughout the day. So at 3K, it's 15 and 20 minutes in September. Pre-K is 20 to 30 minutes in the month of September. K is 65 to 75 minutes. First grade is 75 to 85 minutes. Second grade, it's 80 to 95 minutes. Grades 3 through 5, it's 90 to 110 minutes. And these minutes are spread out during the day.
Ms. Flashman, don't mute, because I'm going to need you to repeat those numbers for me.
Sure.
So,
Okay.
para pre-kindergarten es de 15 a 20 minutos, y eso viene siendo minutos en vivo o fuera de en vivo. What's kindergarten?
So 3K is 15 to 20 minutes.
Okay, pre-kinder es de 15 a 20 minutos.
Pre-K is 20 to 30 minutes.
Pre-kinder es de 20 a 30 minutos.
Kindergarten is 65 to 75 minutes.
Kindergarten es de 60 minutos a 70 minutos.
Grade 1 is 75 to 85 minutes.
Primer grado es de 75 a 85 minutos.
Grade 2 is 80 to 95 minutes.
El segundo grado es de 80 a 90 minutos.
Grades 3, 4, and 5 are 90 to 110 minutes.
Del tercer grado al quinto grado es de 90 a 110 minutos. Esto viene siendo, la maestra puede dividir los minutos en grupos o la maestra lo puede viniendo a hacer en un tiempo total. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Fleshman.
Oh, you're welcome.
The next,
Is it possible for us to get a picture of that and just post it in the chat? Because that might be something useful someone might want to look at.
I'll try to see if I can do it from my laptop. Just give me
Thank you.
Let me read off this question to you.
Thank you.
I am a working parent. My daughter is a part of the blended learning. Does she use the same email, the school email on the tablet? Also, I haven't received anything regarding the Learning Bridges program.
So your child will use their same email that they used last year, their PS 138 email. So that same email that they had that they were using throughout the spring is the same one they'll be using. In terms of the Bridges program, so we are not the ones at our school level who runs that. It's a city-run program. Last I heard, I spoke to one of our community-based organizations in our building, and the only thing that they knew for certain, and they were going to be a part of the Bridges program, is that the applications were available. So I know that they sent out the applications, and that's where they are right now. They haven't given us any further directives on what that looks like beyond the application.
Ok, para el programa de Bridges, todavía no hemos recibido más información de eso. Lo único que sabemos es que las aplicaciones ya salieron y que pueden empezar a aplicar, pero no nos han dado más directivas sobre ese programa. Y para los padres que tenían a sus hijos aquí en esta escuela, el año pasado pueden usar la misma dirección electrónica y la misma clave para poder entrar a las clases. Ms. Evans, I tried to put the picture up. It doesn't allow me to attach a picture.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So we can send it, or we can attach it on our social media feed so that it's there, because it's just the timing. That's fine.
No problem.
Okay.
On this week, when the children return to school, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, is it a full day remote or is it a half day?
It's a minimum of an hour. It could be more, but they're not in school. All of the children, every single child across the DOE is remote that day. So no one is coming to the building. Those are orientation days, the 16th, 17th, 18th. Every child, no matter what their learning preference was, blended, remote, every child on those 3 days are having orientation online. They are not coming to the building. The first day for any child to come to the building is the 21st, and that's cohort A only. So I just want to be clear on that. The 3 days, 16th, 17th, 18th, these are all remote days with a minimum of an hour with the teacher. It could be more for them to get the orientations. On the 21st will be the first official day of school where children come into the building, and only cohort A will come to the building. Cohorts B and C will be in their blended learning platform on that day, and then we'll follow the schedule which we sent out to you. If you have not received it again, please reach out to Ms. Jimenez. We mapped out the schedule from the 21st all the way till December. Thank you, Ms. Marcus, so that every parent has what it looks like from now till December. So if you didn't get that, please let us know. Provide us with your email, and we will send that to you.
Okay. El día 16, 17 y 18, que todos los niños van a empezar sus clases virtuales. No es nada específico de que el día es completo o por mitad, pero el mínimo tiempo que la maestra va a pasar con ustedes va a ser 1 hora virtual, porque ahí es que la maestra le va a dar todas las direcciones y diferente información que necesita. También el primer día que los niños van a venir a la escuela va a ser el día 21 de este mes, pero los únicos niños que van a venir a la escuela es el grupo A. Ningún otro niño va a venir a la escuela ese día, nada más el grupo A. All right. Our next question is, what happens if the teachers go on strike?
If the teachers go on strike, we will wait for directives from the DOE and guidance as to how to proceed. We work for them, so however it works out, they'll tell us what the next moves are, and you'll probably see it on TV, so you can call us and let us know.
Una pregunta fue que qué va a pasar si las maestras se van a huelga, si las maestras deciden ir a huelga, van a esperar a que reciban más dirección sobre qué hacer. Nosotros trabajamos para el Departamento de Educación. Lo que el Departamento de Educación no diga que vamos a hacer, eso es lo que vamos a hacer. Usualmente ustedes oyen lo mismo que nosotros en las noticias, o ustedes van a saber a la misma hora que nosotros sepamos qué va a pasar.
And I said that and I smiled, and I meant nothing, no disrespect by that, but I want you to know that even with the pushback of the date to the 21st, because sometimes people believe that because we're in the DOE that we're getting information so far in advance, and that is not always true. My PA president actually took a picture of Mayor de Blasio on TV and asked me, is this true, as I was in school working and had not heard of it. And when I said to her, well, thank you for letting me know, she's typed back LOL, because she couldn't believe that this had happened and we hadn't known. So I believe me when I tell you I'm not hiding a thing from you, because sometimes being at home, and if you're watching the news, you're probably going to get some of this news before we do, and that's just the absolute truth. When she wrote me, Miss Sabater, I see her on my screen, she laughed at me because she probably thought I was being facetious, but I wasn't. The moment that she sent that news brief to me was when I found out that the time was pushed back.
La señora Evans dice que ella se rió al final, no en una forma de faltar el respeto, sino porque la señora Sabater, el día que dijeron lo de las clases ser empujadas al día 21, le mandó un mensaje a la señora Evans diciendo que las clases iban a empezar el día 21 y le pregunta que si es verdad. Y la señora Evans le dice, yo estoy trabajando, ni sabía, muchas gracias por informarme. Y es increíble, y mucha gente a veces no nos creen cuando le decimos, nosotros nos enteramos de las cosas a la misma vez que ustedes se enteran por noticias. No es que nosotros recibimos nada por adelantado, nosotros siempre oímos la información a la misma vez que ustedes. No es que le estamos escondiendo nada ni nada por ese motivo, sino que nosotros recibimos la información a la misma vez. ¿Cómo los padres sabrán qué clase le toca? Si no han recibido la información de la clase, por favor, contáctense con la señora Jiménez. Su dirección electrónica es M de María, mjimenez@schools.nyc.gov. So the parent was just asking if she hasn't received anything, how can she get the info? I told her to make sure she contacts Ms. Jimenez. If you do not know which cohort your child is in, please make sure to email her at mjimenez@schools.nyc.gov.
And she just posted it in the chat again.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Hello, when I filled out the application, I said that I wanted remote learning, but I haven't received any emails or letters with the confirmation that she is going to be remote.
So again, I know that every day they're sending us an updated list, but there are parents who have called and said they haven't read that. Going to remote is really not going to be a huge issue. So I don't want you to worry too much. If your child is going remote, then that's fine. It's when they start out at home and try to come back that there's an issue. So if you haven't heard anything back from them and your child is going remote, just let us know that you applied, and you can send that also to Ms. Jimenez. She'll forward that along, and that's fine. As long as you let us know, we know how to program your child. That's not going to be a huge issue.
Sorry, had a hard time unmuting. Si no ha recibido nada y usted puso a su hijo o hija que fuera a la escuela virtual, todavía está bien, no hay problema, porque eso es lo más fácil si usted quiere que su hijo esté virtual. Con eso no hay problema. Si no ha recibido nada, no se preocupe, porque todos los días nosotros recibimos una lista nueva de niños o niñas que van a estar virtual, y todos los días cambian.
And I just wanted to also add that I just had I read that question and my mind kind of went, but remind me again what that parent asked, Heredia.
I was reading another question too. Hold on, let me scroll back.
Fine. It's fine. I'll come back to it. Go ahead.
Okay. The next question is, my child had a bus last year. Will there be buses to take the kids to and from school on the days that they are scheduled to be in the building?
So to the best of my understanding, yes, there's still a lot of guidance coming out on busing. I can tell you that I emailed with someone in the busing department who told me that the schedules would remain the same, though we have told them that our school day starts a little later and that children cannot come early. Children have to get here at the time that school starts, because there's nowhere for them to congregate and they can't. So I'm waiting for more directives on that. But typically OTPS, who are the people in charge of busing, reaches out to the parents to give them the schedule. So if you have that, shoot me an email and let me know. But I know that, as far as I know, the busing situation is going to be what it was last year. Many of the buses came to our building and we told them our new start time. So I'm not sure exactly how they're programming. But that's as far as we know right now. A lot of, when we ask the busing question, it's the information is forthcoming.
Una mamá preguntó sobre las guaguas escolares, si todavía van a funcionar de la misma manera. La señora Evans expresó que todavía es información que estamos recibiendo todos los días, pero hasta donde ella tiene entendido, sí vamos a seguir con las guaguas escolares y va a seguir el mismo horario, pero desde que ella reciba un poco más de información, ella la va a compartir con ustedes porque la escuela empieza un poco más tarde ahora y no tenemos una área para aguantar los niños durante ese tiempo porque no podemos, tenemos un límite de la cantidad de niños que pueden estar en una área en particular. Next question. Can I know if my child's teacher is remote or in school? You're on mute, Ms. Evans.
If your child is in the building, they're going to have a physical body. They have to have someone in the room who is looking over them. So if your child is at school, they have a physical teacher. If your child is at home, they will have a remote teacher, and that person could either be working from home or at school, depending on whether they chose that option. So it depends on what model your child is in. But if they're in school, they're going to have someone in front of them in the classroom teaching.
Okay. Una mamá preguntó que si ella quería saber si la maestra va a ser por virtual o una maestra en la escuela. Si su hijo o hija está adentro de la escuela, van a tener una maestra en el salón con ellos, no va a ser por computadora. La maestra va a estar en el salón, pero si su hijo está virtual, puede ser una maestra que esté o en la escuela o en su casa dando la clase virtual. The next question is, how is orientation going to work for remote learning? Do we still have to go into the school?
So, we kind of went over orientation. I'll go over it again. Orientation is working the same for every child, whether they're remote or in school option. On the 16th, 17th, and 18th, orientation will be held for every student at our school, and it will be done remotely. So every child, whether you come to the building a couple of days a week or you are staying full remote, the orientation days will be the 16th, 17th, and 18th with the child's teacher. They will send you the invite for that. They're sending out welcome letters. Some of you may have gotten the welcome letters already. And even that may be subject to change now that there are things that are changing, but we're working on that right now and we'll let you know. But every child will have an orientation and they will have that via remote, on the remote platform.
All right. I just drew a blank because I was reading a question. Sorry.
Can everybody, orientation.
Orientation, thank you. La orientación de la escuela va a ser virtual. Como ella le explicó, la maestra va a tener una orientación pequeña el miércoles cuando empiece a introducirse con los padres, pero la orientación va a ser, la maestra se va a comunicar con ustedes y le va a dar esa información. Our next question is, how would I know what the assigned teacher is? I know Ms. Evans mentioned this earlier, just in case some of you missed it. This is changing every day. So we're asking you guys just to please continue being patient with us. Every day we're changing it around. I know Ms. Evans and Mr. Burke are currently in the main office right now working on switching things around because this morning they got new directive. So as soon as they have more information, I'm sure they're going to share it with you guys. Anything else you would like to add to that, Ms. Evans?
The day we're sharing it is tomorrow. We're going to be here till tomorrow. So if you see us wearing the same clothing, please do not be alarmed. We're probably going to be here overnight trying to get this schedule done right. But we are going to get it done and you'll have it tomorrow. That is my pledge because we must. So things have changed, but we still have to keep plugging along. So we are going to get it done and send it to you tomorrow.
Okay. Una mamá preguntó que cuándo van a saber la información de quién es la maestra. La señora Evans y el señor Burke están trabajando en eso ahora mismo. Desde que ellos tengan la lista completa, como le dije anterior, todos los días reciben información nueva. Hoy recibieron información y están haciendo cambios nuevos, o ahora todos los cambios nuevos ellos están haciéndolo. Ya terminar de hacer un chiste, que si mañana la ven usando la misma ropa, por favor no se rían, porque lo más seguro va a dormir aquí esta noche hasta que terminen. Pero ya para mañana, la meta de ellos es para mañana mandarle esa información.
And
Hold on,
Miss-
Ms. Heredia.
Yes.
And I, Ms. Fleshman, through the magic of technology, am working on it as well.
That's correct.
Right.
That is true. She is up all hours of the night, putting in her time on the other side of the screen, really helping and reading off names and doing whatever we have to do. So we're all working together. I just saw somebody write, "God bless you, Miss Evans," and I just want to tell you that I'm so thankful for that blessing. We really need it at this time. So we thank you and we bless you right back, because we know it's also not easy for you either.
I think so.
La señora Fleshman de su casa también está ayudando, ya pasa horas muertas. And I could attest to that because I get her emails late at night on a weekend. Ella está trabajando de su casa, pero también está poniendo de su parte y está todas horas trabajando con ello. The next one, Brian, I know you mentioned your parents are not home. The meeting is pretty much about over. I'm sorry, but we will be posting the meeting on our YouTube channel. So since your parents missed the meeting, they could join and watch it on the YouTube channel. It will be posted hopefully by the end of today. Uno de los niños estaba preguntando de cómo su mamá o papá pueden ver la reunión porque ellos no la pueden ver en este momento. Va a estar en nuestro canal de YouTube. So, si usted conoce a alguien, un vecino, un familiar que no pudo ver la reunión y necesita esta información, por favor, mándenlo al YouTube channel de nosotros. Va a estar ahí ya para el final del día de hoy. If you missed we answered this a little earlier, if you missed any of the materials that were handed out last week or today, please, you can still come and pick it up.
Anytime.
At any time, just as long as it's school hours and someone's in the building, you can still come and pick it up. Para los padres que no recibieron materiales, todavía pueden venir a recibir materiales. Aunque no pudieron venir la semana pasada, todavía pueden venir. Thank you very much, Ms. Evans, for everything. Yes, orientation starts on the 16th. 8:45 is the time. Teachers will be reaching out to you. They will be letting you know login time. I know for pre-K, we're still working on getting their login information together. So you will get a call. I know all pre-K teachers today were calling the homes and reaching out to parents. If your child make sure you complete all the registration forms and get them out to Ms. Rodriguez. So we could get your number and we can make sure that we get any information out to you. Will children need additional supplies aside from the ones that they receive from the school?
So the supply lists, and we really streamlined the supply list this year because parents, you're home with your children. We understand there's a lot going on. A lot of it is just notebooks, pencils, all of the things they'll need. Again, they'll be provided with the ELA stuff. They'll be provided with the worksheets. They'll be provided with whatever else they need. It is not my intent at all to add any additional strain. So much of it will be their notebooks and pencils and just their normal things that they will need in the process of doing their writing and their computing with the math and so forth. So it's a very pared down supply list because many of the children are home. Just notebooks, mostly pencils, and then a few teachers have a few other small things on there. We did send a supply list to the teachers, so they should also be passing that on to you during the orientation time or prior to that if they have already done so.
Remember to bring the devices if they come to school.
Did you hear Mr. Burke?
Yes.
Okay.
Para una mamá preguntó que si van a necesitar materiales extra. Algunas maestras sí están pidiendo unos cuantos materiales extras, pero estamos tratando de mantenerlo a un límite de no pedir muchos materiales porque sabemos que estamos en una situación difícil ahora mismo. Pero cualquier cosa que necesiten extra, la maestra le va a dejar saber. Other than that, I would like to, because I know we're hitting about close-up time. Is there anything you would like to add, Ms. Evans?
Yes. I want to just thank you all so much. You've come to the town halls. You've asked very thoughtful questions. You've always kind of come in and supported us, and I have to just say thank you for that. I've had the opportunity to see so many of you throughout the summer, and even as you came to the building to pick up some of your children's materials. And I just want to thank you for your kindness in this time and for your patience and for your thoughtfulness. And I just want to assure you that we are working very hard to ensure that in an ever-changing daily ever-changing daily changes. We are really doing our best to work with what we have, but please know that what we're not going to compromise is what we're going to teach your children. We believe in them. We believe in you. You have shown us how strong and how resilient you are, and we thank you for being a part of our community and for entrusting your children to us, and we're going to do our very best to ensure that they get what they need to the best of our ability this year. So thank you all so very much. Miss Heredia, good luck with that.
I'm going to try my best. Le queremos dar muchas gracias a todos por asistir a nuestra reunión de hoy. No podemos decirles gracias suficiente porque sabemos que muchos de ustedes han trabajado duro con nosotros para poder mantener la educación de sus hijos adelante. Sabemos que todos ustedes han venido a las reuniones, que están aquí para ayudarnos. Son muchas gracias. Vamos a tener más reuniones donde tenemos más información para ustedes. Desde que nosotros sepamos algo, sabemos que los cambios pasan todos los días recibimos un cambio nuevo y a lo que nosotros recibimos cambio, nosotros daremos esa información con ustedes. Muchas gracias por asistir a la reunión de hoy y que tengan un bonito día. Ms. Fleshman, would you like to add something?
I want to say muchas gracias to you, Miss Heredia. Miss Heredia.
Anytime.
Everyone has a role to play in this historic moment. We're all a part of history. Parents, staff members, children. We are doing something that was never done before. And we're doing it together with a good spirit.
Yes.
It can't get better than that.
Amen to that. Thank you, staff, for being here and always supporting. When I look up and I see you, it's just awesome to have you all always just on here and just supporting. So thank you all very much. And you'll hear from us tomorrow. Even if I have to come to your house and drop off stuff and give you what you need. So thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your afternoon, and we will see you soon. Thank you very much.
Muchas gracias por venir. Nos vemos pronto.
Thank you. Bye.
Enjoy your day.
Heredia, good job, Heredia.
No problem. Thank you.